In my interview, we talked with the director of the Secretariat of the Energy Community, Артур Лорковски. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
At the beginning, as a country, were we on our path towards European energy integration? In the Parliament, you represent the report for 2023. So, in brief, what are our strengths and what are our weaknesses, and what do you see as our opportunities?
You are exactly on the average of the performance of the energy community countries. So you are in the middle of the group of 9 contracting parties of the energy community. So they are the countries which are performing better. For example, Montenegro, Serbia, Ukraine. But also they are the countries which are performing worse. So in the other words, you have just done a half of the job to join the European Union in energy and climate, and still you have ahead of you the other half to be performed and to be followed up. And I think this is a good message because you are progressing, but still you have a lot to be done before you join the European Union. And where you're good, where you're strong, I think you are really strong in electricity. So a lot has already happened and a lot has already been developed in the country, in North Macedonia. But what you have to improve is gas and the decarbonization. They are the 2 elements, I think, which still would require some efforts. And this is basically why I'm here, just to find a way with the new government, with the new parliament, to establish the work program for months and years to come, how to achieve this progress in the future.
In the Macedonian Assembly, you send a strong message that the new representatives will have a lot of work to do, like a new renewable energy law, a new climate action law, cybersecurity legislation, and new energy law by September this year. That's one of among other issues. So how important are they, and what's your role in this process as a secretariat?
Let's take one example, which is the electricity law, which I think would describe the process precisely. The energy community is offering the way for accelerated integration in the European Union electricity market. So even before joining the EU and becoming the full-fledged member of the European Union, North Macedonia and the other countries of the region can join European Union single market for electricity, so that you can profit a lot from the biggest and most liquid market in the world. For doing that, you have to simply align your legislation and to provide the same conditions for market operators as they are in the European Union. And after doing that, you can join the European Union market coupling. This is the technical wording, but to explain it, this is the form of integration which is allowing your company to be treated exactly the same way as any other company from the European Union. And for doing that, you have simply to follow up with the legislation. The draft law has been already prepared by the previous government, but the work has been suspended to election. Now is the time to catch up and to accelerate the work so that you can, as soon as possible, join the EU electricity internal market.
You also had meetings with the executive branch. What is your impression of these meetings? Is there a political will for the steps ahead, as you mentioned?
It is definitely, and the fact that the energy ministry has been created in North Macedonia is a very promising signal. And this is a source of hope for me that the process of accelerated work would be possible if the government would have not only a dedicated minister, but also dedicated group of people dealing with energy issues. So it is for me the signal and creation of the ministry, as I understand, as a commitment to make more and to join faster the European Union market.
As you mentioned, there are 2 hot topics, the market coupling and carbon border adjustment mechanism. And the deadline is 2030, but there are things to be done now. So, in short, what should the state do? What should the companies prepare for, and what should the citizens know in this regard?
Carbon border adjustment mechanism is a policy done by the European Union, incentivizing others to follow European Union climate agenda. So this is not the policy which is dedicated only to North Macedonia or only to the Western Balkan countries. It is the policy which is expecting the key trading partners of European Union, like United States, like China, like South American countries, like African countries, to follow the way how European Union is doing the climate policy. The carbon border adjustment mechanism will apply from the 1st January 2026. It means that every emission embedded in electricity, in steel, in glass, in cement, in aluminium, in hydrogen, exported to the European Union should be subject to carbon pricing. But there is one option to be exempted only for electricity, provided that two conditions are met. The first condition is that the market coupling will be in place by the end of 2025, so that the highest form of integration of electricity markets will be in place by the end of 2025. And secondly, that the government will commit to establish the carbon trading mechanism for country by 2030. And we are now in the process of accelerating our work and to fulfill these two conditions, to be exempted from CBAM for electricity sector.
About the carbon tax, as they say, who will do the calculations? Who will have to pay? How much it will cost? And how will you prevent this charge, as a new charge, to come to the end consumer, the households? And most important, who will spend the money collected and what for?
Now we are not at the stage of taxing the domestic consumption. Now we are talking about how to prevent your company, which are exporting electricity to the European Union, from paying the carbon tax on the border with the European Union. So we are discussing about the electricity which is exported to the European Union and how to temporarily, after 2030, get the exemption from paying this tax, so that the export of electricity, for example, from North Macedonia to the EU neighboring countries, for example, Greece, could be continued under the same conditions. If that would be not possible, your export to the European Union countries, your export of electricity will be less competitive on the EU market. It will have, of course, the consequences for the electricity producers in North Macedonia. So now we are not discussing the issue how to tax the consumption of electricity in the country.
But this also will apply for the companies, like private companies, that, as you mentioned, the cement industry or other stuff. So how this will be, how this new tax will be, how to say, who will do the calculations, like here in Macedonia or from your side?
So providing that the production of cement, electricity, glass, aluminium is based on the renewables, you will not pay any tax. The tax will be paid only on the border with the European Union in case the production is based on the coal and lignite, so that the production is dirty, the technologies and the fuel which is used is not clear one, is not environmental friendly one. So this is the incentives for making the investments in the industry. And this is the reason why we want, for example, for electricity, to get this exemption, so that the companies producing electricity can adjust to the future taxation and to make through this investment the production of electricity more climate friendly.
Well, we heard what needs to be done, but how the Secretariat is helping in this process? Because what you have done in 15 years or more, now the region have to do in 2 or 3 years' time. So,
basically, we are discussing that issue and also almost 20 years under the umbrella of the energy community. So this is nothing new. In principle, the treaty will be celebrating the 20th anniversary next year. So there is a record of cooperation with the contracting party. So we are not starting from the scratch. We're not starting from the very beginning. But you are right. I mean, the European Union is also developing. The European Union is creating the market, and now there is a challenge, for example, to join the European Union electricity market. And how Secretariat could help? Very easily. We can help drafting the legislation in the country. We can explain this legislation. We can support whatever process is needed for the adoption of this legislation by both government and parliament. And we can also raise the awareness. It is exactly what we are doing now, explaining what are the challenges which are to be expected in 7 years from today.
Okay, what are the main lessons learned from the energy crisis in the past 2 years? Like on one side, we have high electricity and gas prices in Europe, inflation, debate on nuclear power plants closure, and on the other side, we have the new European Green Deal, the energy demand reductions, and the farmer protest. So,
what we have learned again is that the cheapest is the electricity not consumed. So that we should go for the energy efficiency so that we can reduce the consumption of electricity by whatever means possible. And I would like to comment, for example, the tariff policy of your regulator, which established a system which is incentivizing people to use less electricity than in the previous years. And this is the very basic assumption, this is the very basic strategy, how to have a cheaper electricity by not consuming the electricity, which is simply not needed. Then, what is important is to invest in the energy efficiency, for example, of houses or apartments we are living in, so that we can consume less for heating or for cooling of these houses. So that this is another reason another way how we can reduce our investment. And the third is to invest in renewables. Renewables prove to be an efficient source of energy, especially in electricity. And now, if you would compare the prices on the EU level, those who have a significant share of renewables in the energy mix, now they're having lower prices than the prices of those countries in the European Union which are still based on coal. And the fourth element, I think, or the fourth lesson learned is that we have to protect vulnerable consumers. They are the groups of the society which must be protected from the non-controlled increase of energy prices. And I think it was very important that your government also introduced the schemes and programs for the protection of the most vulnerable consumers, because they have to be part of this transition and they cannot simply be left behind. So they are the four lessons I'm taking from the energy crisis.
And now to go more on a regional level, as you know, in the few months ago, we have a major blackout in electricity supply in the region. And how can this be avoided in the future? I mean, is it an outdated network grid or more of a security issue?
Oh, there was a couple of days ago. There was on the 21st June. So this memory of that happening was very fresh. And the ministers of the energy community meeting last week in Banja Luka at the informal ministerial council discussed this topic extensively. And they agreed that there are basically three steps to be taken to avoid these developments in the future. Firstly, we need closer cooperation between the transmission system operators so that they can properly cooperate and exchange data so that the cascade effect of the event could be limited immediately after it occurs. The second is we need regional markets. So the deeper the integration is, the turbulences occurred by one accident in the country could be better controlled. And the third element is the development of the cross-border infrastructure to make the market more flexible in electricity. So building new interconnectors, though also those who are under the energy community framework promoted, is something which would definitely help to prevent these accidents in the future.
Well, with all this in mind, how does this affect the price of electricity in Macedonia, and what's your expectation in the next period?
Listen, there is a very basic rule in the market economy. North Macedonia is a market economy country, that the price has to cover the cost of production, and following this example, the more renewables will be in the system, the cheaper will be electricity. The more integration with neighboring countries, so the balancing cost would be lowered, the lower will be the prices in the future. The lower is demand because of the energy efficiency, the lower is the price in the future. They are the very simple choices, but the more coal you will have and the longer coal you will have your new energy mix, the higher will be the prices in the future. So at some point you have to take this decision, and this is exactly what we expect from your government, to provide to the Secretariat the strategy until 2030 and to explain what will be the strategy for decarbonization. So what is the capacity of renewables to come? What is the regional market integration vision? What is the future of the generation capacities based on coal? This is the decision to be taken by your government soon.
And for the end, what is your vision for the next 10 years, and how can we best position ourselves in the EU framework?
My vision is that all of the contracting parties of the energy community will become the members of the European Union, and the energy community will be not needed anymore, because we are just preparing you for the full membership by offering, for example, for electricity, an option for accelerated integration with the European Union in specific sectors. But I hope that you will succeed soon the EU negotiations with the European Union. You will join the European Union, and then we can close the Secretariat of the Energy Community day after.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.